Good morning, dear friends. I am very pleased to address the inaugural Sri Lanka Internet Day 2021, organized by the digital chapter of the Federation of Information Technology Industry in Sri Lanka. I am very encouraged to witness the participation of distinguished speakers from abroad, who I am sure would be able to add much value to the work Sri Lanka has undertaken in the information communication technology field. I also note with much satisfaction the role played by the newly formed Ministry of Technology in this inaugural event, with enthusiastic support from the ICT Agency, Telecommunication Regulatory Authority, Export Development Board, and the Colombo Stock Exchange as national partners. It is essential that a strong collective effort is launched to make Sri Lanka move forward in an expeditious manner. The theme of the event, Digital Inclusion, encompasses how the citizens' engagement in a digital society will see an improvement in terms of access, affordability, and digital ability. This theme is in line with the policy document Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor that I presented to the people at the presidential election in 2019. On a 10-point policy framework I presented, the sixth pillar, a technology-based society, assumes great importance because it is an enabler for the overall development of Sri Lanka and strengthens the implementation of people-centric economic proposals. In order to give effect to this initiative, a technology-based society in the latter half of last year, a new Ministry of Technology was established under my charge. This new ministry envisages revoking strategies that will help build a technology-based society. The goal and the collective mission of this ministry is to build a culture of technology and innovation that will enhance the internet economy and living standards of our people and add value to their lives. We have pledged and are working diligently towards creating a smart nation composed of a society dependent on technology. A culture of technological innovation is what we are aiming to establish, be it agriculture, industry, or services. All these economic sectors will have to integrate with technology if they are to survive and compete. The policy enunciated also outlines the creation of a global innovation hub through the introduction and later ensuring wide availability of Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, robotics, cloud computing, nanotechnology, and 3D printing. Sri Lanka is beginning to create the infrastructure to make the country a global innovation hub. If not for the debilitating blow dealt by the COVID-19 pandemic, we would have covered much ground by now. Nevertheless, with the lessons taught by the global pandemic, we are moving with more vigor to realize our stated goals. On this inaugural Sri Lanka Internet Day, a key component of the technology-based society pillar cannot be overlooked. That is the setting up of the citizen-centric digital government for the convenience of the citizens. Establishing citizen service centers to adopt new technologies for public service delivery, introducing a digital and electronic payment system to pay traffic fines, establishing an e-procurement system to eliminate bribery and corruption, among others, are envisaged under this component. Very soon, a unique digital identity card with the state-of-the-art technology for every citizen will be a reality. Substantial work has been done in this regard. These citizen services will greatly depend on wide availability and access to internet. It is essential that for e-governance to be firmly established, high-speed internet is available throughout the country. It cannot be limited only to urban areas. A well-implemented e-governance framework will not only ensure the well-being of the people in their day-to-day activities, but will also make the government work efficiently and effectively. This will lead to drastically reduce corruption in transactions. Undoubtedly, an efficient e-governance program facilitated by high-speed internet will save time people spend on getting essential things done from the government. Further, to take Sri Lanka firmly into the 21st century, a digitally inclusive Sri Lanka must be established. Our policy document enumerates this vital initiative. A few key programs in this component are establishing a countrywide high-speed optical data transmission system and a high-speed 5G mobile broadband system to facilitate data transmission, establishing digital cities with digital administration and monitoring, introducing mobile and digital payment systems, and introducing new legislation to ensure data protection, cyber security and intellectual property rights. We also envisage through our policy basket to promote IT entrepreneurship. We are therefore very desirous of supporting the local entrepreneurs to develop software for the international market and boost our IT exports to $5 billion annually. In most rural areas, internet speed is a bottleneck for advancement of many economic sectors. Unless high-speed internet is made available to people, we would not be able to make substantial improvement in their day-to-day life. This is true in the case of investors as well. For investors to see Sri Lanka as an attractive destination, high-speed internet is a key requirement. Having high-speed internet even in rural areas will offer more and lucrative opportunities for these investors, leading to rural areas becoming ideal location for industries to be established. I am aware that a lot more work needs to be done to realize our goals. Nevertheless, work that is being carried out by the public and private sector agencies provide us much hope. The recently established Technology Ministry has already commenced building technology parks that will change the IT and innovation landscape of Sri Lanka. These parks, once established, will also be attractive centers for lucrative foreign direct investments in the technology fields. These technology parks will also provide much needed learning opportunities to our youth and budding entrepreneurs. Undoubtedly, IT infrastructure, including fast and secure internet, will be essential for us to forge ahead in all the above. The TRC is identifying areas in the country where telecommunication facilities are poor and taking remedial steps to improve signal quality and also improve internet facilities. The government as a whole is placing much emphasis on improving telecommunication and IT infrastructure and closely collaborating with the private sector companies in these fields. The tax benefits provided to the IT sector is a good example of the government's intention to enhance private sector productivity. As internet is becoming a part and parcel of life of almost every citizen, I am very keen to ensure that no area, rural or urban, is left out. As we saw during the pandemic, access to internet and through internet to a variety of services was much highlighted. The 4.2 million school population had to rely on online education, and in certain areas children complained that poor quality of telecommunication signals shut them out of certain learning opportunities. Ironically, in my discourse with the village, I find that in certain rural areas, villagers request for better and cheap internet facilities, underlining how communities have become dependent on the internet. In this culture of technological innovation, technology, particularly the information communication technologies, will have a heavy influence on education and its related fields. We are already seeing the inroads the ICTs have made into every aspect of education. These innovations the ICTs have incorporated into education have created revolutionary and salutary changes in the entire education system, starting from the early childhood education to high-level research and doctoral level education. Long-standing barriers to education that poor communities encountered have been either completely neutralized or partially removed. In developed countries, internet is widely used to improve access to education. We still not have exploited the many avenues in this regard. As I said, COVID-19 has been an obstacle to some of the work we planned in the fields of education. The acute shortage of science and math teachers is an impediment to our progress in science-based education. Training teachers in both these fields will take a long time and a substantial effort. High-speed internet is the solution to this much debated issue of shortage of teachers. Today, the world is deploying very innovative applications to deliver content to students in remote localities. I wish to invite entrepreneurs to take a serious look at these opportunities in the field of education. As done in other countries, our entrepreneurs can make use of these opportunities that would be mutually beneficial to the student community as well as to business entities. The potential in this sector seems to be substantial, with students across the board keen to access effective learning opportunities irrespective of where they live. Our government has already provided many benefits to would-be entrepreneurs, and they must capitalize on these lucrative avenues. Another vital area, high-speed internet could make the lives of the rural farmer and the consumer in the city fruitful, is agriculture. Good and fast internet facilities coupled with the right applications could link the rural farmer with the consumer. This will provide a good farm gate price to the producer and a reasonable buying price to the consumer and reduce the unsaved gap we observed at present. Here too, entrepreneurs and investors alike could exploit the enormous opportunities available to them in agriculture. Besides, availability of good internet facilities will provide an effective platform to educate the farmer on numerous things essential to his livelihood. Both the government and the private entrepreneur could educate the farmer on the type of fertilizer to be used, crops to be cultivated, general market prices, useful technical advice, and plethora of information useful for successful agriculture. With all these opportunities available to us and the high potential we are yet to tap on this inaugural Internet Day, I wish to avail of this opportunity to extend my best wishes to FITIS and all other agencies in both the public and private sectors to forge ahead strongly with being dampened by the obstacles we as a nation has to face. The launch of the Internet Day is a step in this direction. I wish you success in all your endeavors. Thank you.